Hey, this is Would You Will. But it's not a normal Would You Will. It's a backwards Would You Will because, again, I'm in the wrong spot. I'm in the guest spot and you're in the host spot. So,
Oh,
Miss
wow.
Kaneda,
I'm in
take it
charge.
away. You're hosting.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to run this. We're gonna spin a wheel and we're gonna ask some questions about the thing that comes up on the wheel. I know I've seen one episode. I kind of know how this works.
I still don't. Listen, I'm usually the host. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing.
We're gonna kind of make this up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because this is a special episode because we are live at SizeCon,
Yeah.
which we will have all the information for that event underneath the episode. So you guys can go look it up at home, watching this outside of here, and maybe meet some new kinky friends. Because Miss Kaneda, you were on our second episode ever. You were like when we were babies, like podcast babies.
I'm so proud.
And do you want to tell them what episode it was? Like what we talked about?
Was it the Giantess episode?
Absolutely. That's how I tracked you down.
Because that's my thing. I am a literal giantess because I'm 6.5 feet tall, but I'm also into being like 400 feet tall and stepping on little people and doing bad things to other tiny individuals who can't resist me. So that's my thing. Although I've developed a lot more things from hanging out with kinky people like you. So I'm very curious to see what we end up with this wheel. And
oh yeah, there's so much on this wheel, and it's real fun because some of the stuff. I didn't even like some of the episodes we've had. I didn't even know they were fetishes until we landed on it. And I was like, well, now I got to look that up. And then you go, oh, I guess I am into that. Cool.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, just like the Giantess episode. Totally on board with that now. Like I am there. And that's the one reason.
Like frequently wears tights and pantyhose too. I'm kind of like I can pull you along into it.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, it's what I call the gateway fetish. Pantyhose is a gateway fetish, 100%, because you can pretty much do any fetish as long as you throw some pantyhose in there. Those of you watching at SizeCon, we are the podcast Dinks Wit Kinks. You can find us on all social media, Instagram, Twitter at Dinks Wit, not with. We don't like H's. We cut the H the hell out of there. Kinks, because we're witty. We're not, but we try to be. And you can follow us. You can listen to us anywhere you can listen to podcast at on Podbean, Google, Apple, Spotify. I listen to it on Spotify because I'm a Spotify boy.
Podbean always sounds dirty to me. I feel like you can get like the filthiest of podcasts on Podbean.
Every time I say Podbean in any meeting, everyone always snickers. And they're like, Podbean. And I'm like, I know it sounds like a clitoris. The Podbean.
And check out Dinks Wit Kinks.
But yeah, we're available there. We have a Patreon now. So if you're watching this outside of on YouTube or whatnot, go to our Patreon because you'll see the full episode there. You can see other episodes of the Would You Will. This is a wheel where we're going to spin subjects we have talked about in the past, and we're going to get the opinions of our lovely guest, Miss Kaneda.
Hey, I have a lot of opinions.
Listen, the one thing I remember from our episode together is I said your name so many times before we started recording and then immediately botched it.
When the pressure was on.
Yeah, at the minute we started screaming, I was just like, Miss Kaneda, Miss Kaneda, Miss Kaneda, Miss Kaneda, Miss Kaneda, Miss Kaneda. I Miss Kaneda do it.
You're a professional now, though. I mean, that's part of the shtick,
I still, okay, so we have a lovely co-host, Miss Rebecca, on our podcast. And that's how we start our episode is Rebecca. I always say Rebecca 6 times. And then go into it. Rebecca, 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 Rebecca. Welcome to the podcast. All right. So let's get kinking. Let's spin some wheels, see what we got. We got so much on this wheel.
What a verb.
I know. I love kinkster. I love kink responsibly. And I love kinkin'. Let's get kinkin'. First spin. This wheel is the greatest producer we've ever had because it definitely has a mind of its own. Feet. Probably the most common fetish. That in itself is a gateway fetish.
I mean, look, that's one of my like primary things. I'm crazy into feet. Specifically like more like footwear, shoes, all those things. That's my favorite world to live in, but oh yeah, like both sides of it too. Like I will suck toes, I will lick soles, you know, and I will grind my feet into people's faces all day long. So yeah, that's don't even have to talk about that. It's the best.
No, I will say that.
I'll write you a book on feet if you want, you know.
Please, I need to read the feet book. That way, we actually did that. It took us 18 episodes to get to feet, and it's weird because it's one of the most well-known fetishes. Everybody knows of a foot fetish.
Well, and at the same time, though, people are so ashamed of a foot fetish too, because it seems like such a weird thing when you've like had it your whole life. You're like, oh my god, I'm into feet. Like, yo, so is everybody. Everybody loves feet.
Actually, as we found out, like doing research, and we talk about this episode, this is a very polarizing. 90% of the people who know about this fetish are either I love feet, I hate feet.
That's true. There's not a lot of middle ground, I guess.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm very much in the middle ground. I like feet, but I don't. It's like one of those things where I have a pantyhose fetish. So where do pantyhose normally reside? On feet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I like feet, but outside of that, it's not. I don't consider it a fetish. I consider it a kink I very much enjoy and a part of one of my kinks. So I'm like, oh, I will absolutely suck toes, 100%. But of course, I will also suck an elbow. I think all sensual stuff is fun. So I'm one of the very few who are like, man, I'm middle ground. I like feet. Feet are hot. But I wouldn't consider myself a fetish for it. And I think people with feet fetishes should be proud and out about it.
I like it enhances so much about like the Dom experience to me, because like stepping on people and just like stepping on things in general is one of the things that turns me on the most. So I mean, what do you use to step on something? Your feet. Okay, let's talk about the foot. Okay, it's shaped nicely. Oh, this part presses down really nicely. So there's so many different ways to come at the foot fetish, that it's a great uniter of the fetish.
Oh, it really is. I'll tell you right now. There's about 7 things on this wheel, 7 episodes where feet came up. It's like this is very foot fetish related. Because there's so many fetishes that stem off of that, like Giantess, Vor, Splashing Wham, Stuck Fetish, ball busting. They like to get ball busted with the feet. That's a real big thing. Tickling, huge foot fetish thing. It literally has a hand in everything. It's called, and it's one of the few fetishes that have a very cut and dry scientific explanation of why people have it. But to hear all that, you have to actually listen to the episode, because I'm not going to do the whole episode.
Yeah, go listen to the episode.
Yeah, it's a good episode, though. I think we were all 4 feet. All 3 of us were like, yeah, feet are nice. I like feet. All right, let's see what we got next.
Bring it.
I'm excited. We might do everyone on this wheel.
Dink.
Autoerotic asphyxiation and breath play. This episode literally just dropped right now, like 10 minutes ago. This episode just went live. So if you're seeing this and you're watching this on YouTube or on our Patreon, it's today's episode. If you're watching it live, go check it out.
There you go. So where do I stand on this? Autoerotic asphyxiation, I am clumsy as fuck. I do not trust myself to try to strap anything around my neck and try to experience that. But breath play in general is exciting. I don't think I've done a lot of it aside from choking, which is like gentle-ish choking.
Yeah.
Actual breath play, and it has to be done safely, I'm sure, but I love the idea of like controlling someone's life and like making them think that their life might be in danger, and breath play is one of the easiest and safest ways to do that. At least I think, so
I would say, yeah.
Breath play with others. I suppose, I think the right person could totally put me in a breath play situation. I'd sub for very limited kind of people. I don't even know if anybody like that I'm interacted with in real life, but if the person I'm thinking of, well, okay, breath play. Both ways, I could definitely get down with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is always a very touchy subject because, like I said, it can be a very dangerous kink, and that's
Mhm.
one thing we talk about is safe ways to do it. Mr. Shep actually knew a whole lot about this. This is like one of those episodes where he really shined and came through with all the safe knowledge of how to do it. Me, I am one of those people is like I like to breathe. I like choking, but not so much breath play.
Mhm.
Like it's weird because the one thing we did talk about is a lot of times people like I'm into breath play. I mean, I'm into choking, but they're not into breath play.
Yeah.
It is the power of just like I like my hand around the neck and choking to close off the blood, not
Mhm.
the air. And I'm like, so you have a choking fetish, not a breath play fetish. And the way Shep best described it was like, you know, you could do everything from putting, you know, a thumb right here. I'm not going to do it because it made me cough a lot. I was like, sorry, podcast, you get to hear me cough.
It's good times. It's good
It's
times.
a good
Yeah,
time,
it's like
but
breath play is definitely not like a thing that I think about, but I don't get involved like physically personally with anybody that I don't have a really high degree of trust in. And so, you know, in a situation where like someone is trusted and it's like a thing for them, like they really want that or need that, I'll learn and I'll experience it because I can definitely see it as being really sexy.
absolutely. And I think that's where I was. I was one of those on the fence of scared to do it because I wouldn't want to hurt anybody. And it's not that I wouldn't be into it. It's just I don't trust myself to not hurt somebody. But then again, I'm like, maybe I will. Yeah, it's like I think we talked about face sitting breath play, and we called it.
Ooh.
Yeah, we called it the smother taco. And I'm like, I'm 100% for a smother taco.
I smothering is like its own other thing. Like cuz you can foot smother somebody too,
Oh
you
yeah,
know. But sitting on people is like its own kind of dominance. So I yes, okay. That element of breath play provided I could like get used to it safely cuz I'm over 200 pounds, you know, not everybody's going to take that on their skull too easily, but
nah,
we'll
probably not.
find out.
I know some people with some paper thin skulls. I think I could take it. I think the girl who smother tacoed me was about 200 pounds. I like him a little. I like him thick and tall. What can I
Hmm.
say?
Mm-hmm. A man of culture.
I am a man of culture. You know, listen, I'm gonna be real honest. I like everybody. If you ask me what my type is, I'll be like person.
Mm-hmm. You'll find something.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got.
Spin that baby.
Spin the wheel of kinks. Speaking of feet and breath play, tickling, one that encompasses both.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's a pretty, I guess, innocent kink to indulge in. Um, I see a lot
To a
of tick.
degree.
Well, you could say, I guess,
Yeah.
to a degree. Um, but like, I don't know how far you go with tickling. Like, do you like take somebody to the point where they're completely like out of control? Where they're like, you know, laughing and spasming and flopping around while you tickle them, like because I see the like sadistic tickling kind of things where they like lock you in the stocks, tickle you, torture. um I mean, again, if I'm with somebody who wants to experience that, oh, I'll mess them up,
Oh,
that's
100%.
if they want like gentle cute tickling, then it can be kind of flirty and fun. um I'll kick somebody's face in if they're tickling me though. Like
It's
that.
funny. Okay, so we had the same kink with a person, an episode coming out next week, Miss Vera. We were already recorded it. That's the exact word for word thing she said. I will kick someone in the face
I mean,
immediately. She's like, I will tickle them, but if you tickle me, I'm kicking you in the face. And I'm like, that's an appropriate answer.
no, well, I mean, it would be involuntary in my
Oh
case.
yeah, no, yeah.
I would absolutely allow them to tickle me, but again, same thing. Um, you know, because it's not like unpleasant, like it's not a horrible experience, but it still has to be like, how far can it go? Because it's not something that would be erotic to me in any way. Like if it gets them going as an element of something else, cool. Let's do some tickling. Let's get moving along. But like if you just want to strap me down and tickle me, like I don't know.
Absolutely. I'm the same way. I cannot stand to be tickled. You're not going to listen. If you tickle me, neither one of us are going to want to have sex because one, I'm going to be miserable because you tickled me, and two, I lose all masculinity, all ability to act like an adult. I ball up in the ground and squeal like a child. You will be like thoroughly disgusted. You'll be like, I can't believe I was going to sleep with you. That's why I'm like, don't tickle me.
Yeah, it's not good for anybody.
No one's going to come out of this as a victor. I won't hurt you, but you're not going to have any respect for me afterwards because I'm going to snort and squeal, and it's like tickling a child, and just there's nothing hot about that.
It's also like a control thing. I think that's one of the things that comes to it for me. Like if I'm being tickled, I'm not in control, but if I'm able to like, barely move my fingers or like stick a feather near you and manipulate your entire body with that could be kind of cool. I could see that being an exciting thing.
I would tickle somebody. It's one of those things where I could only be on one side. This is not a switch scenario where I'm like, okay, now it's my turn in the rack. No, I'll tickle you all day long. But this actually, like we just talked about breath play and we just talked about feet. This is one of those things. It actually involves both because a lot of times, and Mr. Shep and Rebecca brought this up, breath play and tickle will take your breath away.
Yeah.
And you'll laugh so hard, you'll start to have some issues. And that might be one of the factors people really enjoy about it. They may have breath play fetishes that they don't, they haven't realized.
Yeah, I could see that. You're having like that mild, like lightheadedness and like that foggy feeling. That's what people go for. So,
So
I was thinking.
It's definitely an in-depth fetish that you just don't think about, but also a very playful one. Everybody has tickle fights. Not to the fifth date with me though, because you got to date me long enough to know that that's not who I am, the screaming toddler.
You have to definitely be like settled and strong in your relationship before you break out.
Absolutely, you have to be committed at this point before you can tickle me. So when you go, oh, I made a wrong decision. Too late. You're here.
Yep. Sorry. No, I mean you're already half living here, so you can't run now.
Your toothbrush is in the sink. You stuck. All right, let's give it a spinny spin. So close, so close. Bondage, our very first episode.
Believe it or not, I have zero bondage experience, like with anything. Like I might have had handcuffs on one time when I was like 19, but like I would love to learn. I would love to develop some skills. Bondage seems, again, control. I love control and power. So if you get somebody and you've got them all twisted up and on the ground, flopping around like a worm, like yes, I want to do that to somebody. But no Boy Scouts for me. I didn't get those skills yet. I'll take some courses. If there's the Dinks Wit Kinks, at home correspondence course for bondage, sign me up for the leaflets.
Oh, Miss Kaneda, I want to thank you so much for being on this episode of the Would You Will. This has been the best Would You Will to date. I mean, they've all been great, but they just keep getting better. And I want to thank you. You were on our second episode of our podcast. You helped us get off the ground, and I will be forever indebted to just how awesome you were and how friendly you were. So make sure you guys follow her on her Twitter. She posts tons of awesome content. I still follow you on Twitter. I still like your stuff and retweet it on occasion.
I notice every time.
Oh yeah, I do it. I'm like retweet because you just do. You're full of creativity. You're very friendly. You're very approachable to talk to. So thank you so much for coming out here. If you're watching this episode and it was really short, but you're like, seems like y'all talked for a while, go to our Patreon, which is linked down below. And if you have any questions or want to listen to any of the episodes we talked about tonight, links are also down below. You can just click on it and start that episode immediately. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Miss Kaneda. I want to thank SizeCon for having me out and letting me be a part of this. I love kink and I love conventions. You have just taken two things I love and mushed them together, and I'm all about it and I love it.